Here we go, guys. Ready for the last replay of the list,
in the bag.
I believe.
Line and sinker.
It's in the bag.
And the last cast
Bag in
on this channel for a while. So, as you can see, a lot of things floating. If you can't hit it, it's floating. Take a look at the teams again. Pudge, Visage, Slark, Marana, Silencer. Again, Sand King, Spirit Breaker, Ember, Invoker, Tide. I'm a big fan of Tide. Visage putting the 9 streak on the line, looking for those double digits.
30 seconds to battle.
Let's see if he's able to be successful. Will be interesting. Oh, Silencer with the 4 in a row. A lot of streaks coming out from the Radiant. So this must have been during TI, with all the battle passes available. A couple thousands in there. High skill game? Yeah, relatively higher skill game. At least from the 2 that have it. Pudge comes over. Oh, hook into the arrow. That's first blood. That was pretty impressive. I got a second one bottom as Silencer kills the Tide with the help of the Slark, who goes Pounce instead of Essence Shift or Dark Pact, but potentially just wanted that leash there so they could keep the Tide Hunter close and secure the kill. But the thing about this is if you hit an arrow, you potentially just have the hook. So you kind of need to be careful. Because that'll be arrow and hook hitting ya. And level 2 for both of them, Rot and Starstorm. So you need to be very careful. Invoker pressuring in on the Visage already. Creeps under the tower. I'm waiting to see if they're able to land this combination. I don't really want to switch lanes before the potential. It could also be hook into the arrow. But they go with just the hook to start. Sand King right next to them. They don't throw the arrow, but doing a lot of damage here to the Ember. And, well, realistically, he can't get away. And they have hook in, well, 14. So a lot of time between him and the hook. But knows he gets funneled with the hook coming through. And they could have themselves another kill here onto the Ember. They get burrow struck by the Sand King, who is level 2. Now you finally have level 2 here for them. Marana goes in a leap. Not the Starstorm. And Hook, not enough mana, has the Mango, but the Burrow Strike comes in. Ember able to survive. They lose the Tide bottom. Might lose this Spirit Breaker too. And actually, Ember salved and now has a second in this lane. Questionable plays there coming in top from the Radiant side. Had the Mango had Hook off cooldown, I think could have killed the Ember. I don't know. It definitely seemed plausible. Not too certain why the Hook was never thrown. They didn't get the kill. But the Pounce Essence Shift here for the Slark level 2. Making this Tide very uncomfortable in this lane so far. As Silencer goes Glaives early, so didn't go Glaives before in the previous game that we saw the Silencer in. Went actually max in the Arcane Curse as well as the Last Word, but now takes one into the Glaives. We'll see how it works out in this lane. Spirit Breaker not really being as disruptive as I'd like. But he comes with the charge, and that will hit both these heroes. But they have the Pounce, they'll have the Leash. Level 3 here, so level 2 in the Essence Shift. And Silencer gets one before he dies. And now the Slark has Pounce in 10, so won't kill the Spirit Breaker too. But Spirit Breaker for sure needs to be careful. stacks in the Essence Shift. Make it 12, has the pounce once again. Really doing quite a bit, but Anchor Smash lowering that damage. Still is 91. Spirit Breaker in trouble once again. Just getting these stacks of Essence Shift. The duration only 30 seconds right now, though. Burrow Strike under the tower. Pudge in trouble. Needs to try and maybe rot to survive, but rots for a second, or rot to deny, not to survive. Salves and, well, now might be killed off by this Sand King. Ends up getting the deny. There's the arrow coming through. Starstorm hits, and they will get the kill. Invoker dead mid. The Silencer comes over to help out. Spirit Breaker comes in. Salve pop by both of them. Will keep him alive long enough. The Visage gets bashed, and they've got the Pudge, so you need to be careful as now the Rot's right on top of the SB. Trying to run. There's the hook. There's the kill. And another one here for the Radiant. Early lead here for the Radiant, which is what we saw the early aggression from this team before. Has led to a 1,000 net worth lead. Slark having a good time with the Burrow Strike over mid. Visage will be hooked under the tower. That'll put him in range of the Cold Snap. Now he needs to be very careful with the charge coming in, but won't matter. They grab the kill. Invoker low. Glaives coming in. They get the Invoker. Now they might lose the Pudge, but the last word is out onto the Sand King. The deny will come through. The damage heavy from the Silencer, and with the Arcane Curse, ooh, just not enough. Burrow Strike over, and Silencer dead. The arrow splits the seams of both the Spirit Breaker as well as the Sand King. But the Starstorm comes in to get the kill.
Your phase ends. Radiant's middle
So
tower
back and
is under
forth we
attack.
go. Sunstrike. Looking for the Slark. Won't end up getting the kill. How's the TI actually doing? He's bottom of the net worth, so not well. Level 4 and, well, giving up stacks of Essence Shift to this Slark so far. Got 2 bottom to try and help him out to kill the Slark. If you take a look at the net worth right now, it is 5 Radiant and a Dire Hero of the Ember who did okay over top. They'll look to get the kill with the charge, but you had to immediately have the Burrow Strike with that, and even then, Dark Pact comes through and helps him purge it all away. So, Radiant continue to roll, at least early on in this game. Sark still needs to be careful with Dark Pact again, and then the pounce away. But really playing with fire, keeping himself this low and staying in the lane. He's hoping for 6 soon enough so he could just regen, but again, needs to be careful. Visage mid, charge coming in. Won't commit to it fully, and now Slark is level 6, so he does have the Shadow Dance and the regen that comes along with it when out of sight. Look at the Embers, Searing Chains, Rod on top of him. Flameguard burning this Pudge, and now the Remnant over won't get the kill. Still trying to find it, but the arrow comes in, and ooh, now he gets hit by the hook, and he's just hit. Gets baited by this Pudge. Charges way too late. Ten to 5, still just a 1,000 net worth lead because Invoker and Ember are doing well. But losing that Ember and slowing down his farm is potentially crucial in this matchup. Find the Silencer, Burrow Strike, Arcane Curse on to 2, but they've got Ember coming through with the Searing Chains and one more right click to get the kill. Easy one there for him to recover after dying earlier. So, still about an even game as, ooh, Visage Dies in. They brought everybody over. They didn't actually ravage for that, though. But right now, that kill on the Visage was pretty... Oh, nice Remnant to avoid the arrow. That arrow lands, and, well, that is bye-bye Ember. Coming around on this Silencer. They've got the charge, Anchor Smash. With the Gush follow-up, they'll get the kill on the Ember top. Ravage is used. That locks in the Visage. And they find the kill onto the Spirit Breaker, with Soul Assumption being thrown. So it's a 2-for-1 with the kill over top included. And they kill the Ember once again, dead for the 3rd time. Tranquils for this Sand King. Is Sand King? Yeah, I guess Sand King's in the 4. Sark's at a pretty much free lane here, bottom. Nobody really looking to contest. Moonlight Shadow. Dark Pact pushing him away. Sand King is level 3 into the Burrow Strike. But we'll see if that's even enough. Grave Chill, as well as the hook. They've got the Soul Assumption with the Dismember. Charge over. Tornado comes in, lands on a 2, but they've got the Soul Assumption. Do they have one more shot? Familiar. They get to salve off their Soul Assumption again to get the kill, but now that's going to cost the Visage his life. Had they gotten the kill a little bit quicker, that wouldn't have cost him that much. So, 13-9, 10 intelligence already here for the Silencer. The top 3 of the net worth are all Radiant heroes. A slight lead is okay for now, but Invoker will hit a power spike if he's eventually able to get to the treads and potentially, I would say, Midas Ags that he wants. That is some time away, but we'll see. And then Ember going right into Boots of Travel. Okay. We'll see if that works for him. Keeping this Tidehunter away, but again, probably not looking to engage considering the fact that Ravage is on cooldown for another 22 seconds. Visage mid will die with the charge and the Burrow Strike coming through. And then slight combos used. Coming up on that rune, but it won't be enough to kill the Mirana. Charge onto the Silencer. This is behind the tower, not under it. And now he's in trouble. He will use the last word. They've got the Sunstrike blocking him in. Another kill there for the Invoker. And this is just progressing his farm. Not something you want to do when you had a bit of a lead and slowed down both the Invoker and the Ember. And realistically, you slowed down all 3 cores because they all have 3 deaths. And then 3 deaths between the 2 supports. Mirana has tread so far. We'll see what's next. This is back during TI. I'm wondering what build this Mirana is gonna go. I used to love that Ags build, the early Ags build. Meanwhile, the Sark again just free farming bottom practically, going for the Shadow Blade next. These supports aren't exactly easy to kill. Maybe Spirit Breaker if he's post-charge, but other than that, not really. So I can definitely see Sark getting the Shadow Blade and really just continuing to farm. But we'll see if he wants to move forward. Epicenter Sunstrike. Everything in the kitchen sink being thrown here at the Silencer. Dismember onto the Ember. Searing Chains comes out. They've got the ulti from the Spirit Breaker. And the arrow misses. It's just way too late to deal with the any of these heroes on the Dire. And they could use the Dismember as well as the arrow, but not when it's that late. at 13, even in net worth practically. What does Invoker have? He's going straight Ags, so he's going to skip the Midas altogether. Go straight Ags. Ember, Boots Travel should be on the Courier, yeah. So. He'll have some mobility. They have Dismember? They do. And there's the Boots Travel picked up. Rana going into the Maelstrom. Slark almost finishing off this Shadow Blade. Silencer's got 10 intelligence. Still, he's going into a 4-staff. And then Visage with the Medallion. We'll see if that turns into a Solar Crest a little bit later. Charge coming out onto the Slark. But again, hard to kill this Slark with just the Spirit Breaker as well as the Sand King, especially without the Epicenter. Dark Pack comes out and at least hit with that Urn, but we'll be able to pounce out of vision. Immediately just getting heavy duty regen thanks to the Shadow Dance. Seems a little bit more slow this game than the last. A good stack there from the Tide. We'll see if it goes to the Invoker or the Tide himself. He's only got Arcane Boots and only sitting level 8. But with 3 in the Kraken Shell and 3 in the Anchor Smash, he should be okay. Oh, now they line this arrow up with the hook as well as the Dismember and a kill onto the Ember. I wasn't certain if they saw him there. That might have been a blind arrow. They get the kill onto the Slark, slowing down that Shadow Blade. But they look for more. The Pudge TP's in. I don't know if that was the right move. Ravage committed a little bit early to hit the Silencer. The Burrow Strike follows this up. They've got the Familiars coming in. Pudge trying to run away with the Moonlight Shadow to get him out of vision, but the Anchor Smash hits, and he ends up dying invis. They use the ulti on the Silencer. Soul Assumption comes through onto the Spirit Breaker. They've got the Starstorm that'll get themselves at least 1, but they've already lost 3 bottom. As the Silencer goes down, Visage here with the Mirana. The arrow as the finishing touch to kill this Tide. However, Ember finally makes an appearance with the Searing Chains. Won't be enough to kill the Mirana, but does a lot of damage to push her back.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So again, still even in kills. Booker getting close to that Ags. Shadow Blade is available here for the Slark, just has to get the Claymore.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Have the gold for it, we'll purchase out on it. Visage cleaning up these Ancients.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Already used the Dark Pact. Needs to get away, and will pounce. Just gets out of harm's way as the Spirit Breaker. Not committing any further to that. It was close. And could have been potentially good here for the Dire, but Slark able to be elusive again. He's died once, but we'll have the Shadow Blade soon enough. We'll see if he starts moving around the map with that.
Radiant's middle tower has been denied.
They deny the tower. They wrap around. 3 heroes come in top. Charge out onto the Silencer. Burrow Strike follows that up. And he will throw the global, but no, not really finding any positives with that. Ulti hits the Pudge. Visage from behind. Familiar stun 2 multiple times, but they've got the Burrow Strike as well as the Deafening Blast coming in from the Invoker. They'll get the kill onto this Visage. They'll look for more as Epicenter rumbles away onto the Pudge. The Pounce will leash this Invoker, but they just don't have vision for him. Slark will escape under the guise of Moonlight Shadow, but the Sentry Ward is here. And he shows himself. So now being charged, Shadow Blade on the run, and the Sunstrike. Not going to matter with the 82 regen. Dire again unable to kill this Sark. They did get him earlier when everybody came through. But it's just that they seemingly need everybody to kill this Sark.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Ember, after the boots of travel, will be going in to the Yule's Ags. Just 350 gold away for the Invoker. What does a Marana have? Does have the Maelstrom, BKB next, Visage, Helm of the Dominator. Far away from this Force Staff, but actually it looks like it'll be Midas before the Force Staff. Start going for Lincolns. Gets up to the high ground and the immediate TP over. From 1 now 2, charge in.
Under attack.
Looking for some sort of counterplay. They know that the tide is close, but they can't hook him in reliably with Ravage available. Sark coming over. Tier 1 just being hit by creeps. They've got the Arcane Curse. They're looking for the last word. That would have to hit onto the tide and get the kill before the silence is up. Now the hook, but again, this brings them into the entire team. They've got the Ravage to follow it up. Sleight of Fist, no Searing Chains. Global Silence is going to be used here by the Silencer. They'll look at the Tide Hunter. They've got the Soul Assumption that hits onto the Sand King. Anchor Smash does a bit of damage here to the Silencer as well as the Sark. They're doing enough to get the kill onto the Tide. Post Ravage, they'll get themselves 1. Now they'll look for more. The Sunstrike is used, and that will lower the Marana as well as the Visage. They'll get themselves at least one on the Dire side, but they lose themselves the Spirit Breaker. Burrow Strike away from the Familiars. That'll get himself 200 to gold. And now the TP. Oh, hook. A little bit south. Don't find him. However, they're looking for the Ember. Searing Chains, last word. Tornado comes in as well as the Deafening Blast. Purged off. They get the kill on the Silencer. And it's a 2,000 net worth lead here for the Dire. Hook the Illusion Rune. Or the Invis Rune. Puts both the Sark as well as the Pudge in Viz, and they've got the Sentry. Now he's being charged. He should know. Sark will back off, but Tornado. And now the shot coming in on the Pudge, so they know that they have the Sentry. They get hit by the dust. They look over for the Spirit Breaker, but they don't go for the hook. Is turning into a substantial lead for the Dire. They've got the Ags and the Invoker. He's going into a BKB. Almost having that Yules on the Ember, and then the Battle Fury will be next. 22 minutes into this game, Radiant so far are behind and, well, looking to fight, but not exactly pulling the trigger. So 21 to 18, and, well, Radiant really need themselves a couple of kills to kind of make up this difference. They're relying on the Sark, who's going into the Lincoln Sphere. 2,200 gold. Marana going into the BKB. Those could be big items coming into the next couple of minutes or so if they get them. The thing about it is you're always trying to fight while the Ravage is on cooldown. Anytime this Ravage isn't on cooldown, it's a rough fight to take. Bottom was a little bit easier because it was more spread out, but find yourself in the wrong position, and Dire should be easily able to take the game at the moment, or take the fights at the moment, not the game. hits a creep charge coming in onto the silencer. But he's going to commit to it with the Sunstrike, but the ulti pushes him out of it. I don't know if that's going to matter. The Global Silence comes out. They'll look for the Spirit Breaker. They'll keep the Silencer alive for the moment. Starstorm coming through. Silencer finally dead, as well as the Spirit Breaker. Meanwhile, they've got the Dismember of the Burrow Strike hits from the Sand King to help the Ember out. The Ravage comes through on everybody on the side of the Radiant. They've got the Tornado as well as the EMP. They'll take out the Sark as well as the Pudge. 3 heroes dead on the side of the Radiant. They look over the Invoker, who's stopped by these Familiars, but still trying to run away and gets into the Ghost Walk. So 3 for 2, favoring the Dire. They do lose the Tidehunter, but they kill the Sark, which is real big here. Does end up buying out on the ulti orb, so not too much gold lost. They might even be able to kill the Visage. Cold Snap, and oh yeah, more than enough damage to get this kill. However, Mirana comes over for the trade.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Trespasser.
So again, still Dire ahead. But a good kill there for the Mirana nonetheless. Did cost the Visage's life, but puts this Mirana 500 gold away from that BKB. Like I said, that's going to be a big item here. They got the scan that was on the Tide. This is their time to fight with Ravage down. Down for 80 seconds if they are so willing to fight. I don't know if you want to give up that Dominator gold. So yeah, Familiar stun and moving away. No Solar Crest yet, going into a pipe. 200 gold there. And 400 gold there. No Battle Fury for the Ember. He actually switches over to the Maelstrom. I like that call. I like that a lot more. And Sark desperately looking for this Linken's, but at the same time, with the Shadow Blade, he looks like he's trying to hunt. Unfortunately for him, well, he pings out the ward there. He's not finding anybody. You know, this isn't the Sark game that we're used to seeing, where the Sark moves over and kills these supports. These supports are quite tanky on the Dire side. Hard to kill. Epicenter comes in with the Burrow Strike. They look over the Silencer. They get themselves at least one. They look for the Pudge. The Dismember comes down to the Ember Spirit. The Global Silence is going to follow that up. They'll get the kill onto the Sand King. They've got the Pounce Leash onto the Spirit Breaker. Sark trying to do enough damage here. The arrow comes through. Ends up hitting the Ember on the back line. It misses the Sand King and the Tide, or the Spirit Breaker and the Tide. Ends up getting the Ember to get the kill there. They throw Ravage out, and that's going to be to stop this Sark, who's locked in the Ice Wall. Deafening Blast comes through as well as the Gush. Trying to get a kill. He is disarmed from the Deafening Blast and can't do anything about it at the moment. But Visage as well as the Mirana come over to kill the Tide. 4 heroes will die as the Radiant come out very much on top, which did cost them the buyback on the Silencer. Wow. That is unfortunate there for the Ember. Really unfortunate, actually. So, it puts the Dire still up 2,000. BKB finally picked up here for the Invoker. Mirana's got the 10-second as well going into the Mjolnir. But that pushes this Sark closer to the Lincoln Sphere. However, still
Radiant's top tower is under
1,600 gold away.
Radiant structures
Kind of, sort of. Cold Snap. Killing the Silencer. Invoker gets it. The hook. Just a little bit south. Again, Sark hunting. He's got to know that there's vision here. Tornado EMP, not going to matter. Pudge is practically out of mana anyway.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. And
now the Maelstrom picked up for the Ember. He is really farming well, considering he has died 5 times. Keeping up with this Slark. Invoker's doing a really good job. Had a good time over mid. Has the Ags as well as the BKB going into the Blink Dagger. Mirana, who has only died once, carrying the game right now for the Radiant, or at least keeping him close. The Mjolnir will be nice, and closing in on the Hyperstone at least, and only 400 gold away from that. Now 300, so 1,200 away from finishing the Mjolnir. And the way that this Mirana has been keeping distance and has been able to survive and landing a couple of lucky arrows. So let's be, truthful here. It has worked out in the Radiant's favor at times as the arrow comes all the way in and just steals that Centaur away from the Ember. Might make them think that there's vision there, but that was just a blind arrow.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Charge, leap, 2 leaps. Getting away. Did have the Invoker as well as the Sand King nearby. Sand King does have that Force Staff as well as the Blink Dagger to close the distance. Landing a stun, and probably the Mirana would be dead. But now, Sand King, again, the Sentry where they throw the Spirit Vessel. This Slark has not been good about taking away the dire vision. BKB comes out, and that's from the Invoker as the Visage is nearby. Cold Snap to stop the TP. The charge comes in. He's taking a lot of damage right now and has been able to survive. They'll throw the Gush over as well as the Moonlight Shadow coming in. They'll get the Deafening Blast, but the arrow comes through. They'll finally get the kill. It's the Invoker who gets it. Sight of his Searing Chains. That'll come through onto the Familiars as well as the Ravage used to hit most of the Radiant side remaining. BKB is popped by the Mirana as well as the Global Silence used by the Silencer. And now they'll look for at least the Spirit Breaker. They've got the hook. They've got the dust. They'll get the kill. That's a 1-for-1, but a lot used by both sides. Are still looking for more, and Dire staying around. I don't know if they want to be doing this. But again, Sentry Ward here, they need to get rid of this vision.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Transition over mid, just find a courier
Dire's top
in
tower
between the tier 1 and the tier 2. And Burrow Strike, but
Dire's
can't do much more with that. Tornado missing, as does the EMP. They've got the Arcane Curse. Charge through onto the Silencer. Last we're there with the Familiar stunning him up. They'll get the kill into the tower.
is under attack.
Meanwhile, Mirana cleaning up these creeps over mid and does have enough gold here for the Mjolnir. Ulti comes out onto the Pudge. 3 heroes around him, but very tanky right now with 2,600 health. Arrow hits onto the Tide. They've got the Sandstorm, but is it going to be enough? The Burrow Strike out. They've got the Dust as well as the Sentry placed down, and Sand King had to be very careful on that one. Nobody dying on the Dire, but again, Radiant feeling much stronger. So they'll go back for mana. Pudge for health. Sark does have this Lincoln Sphere. He's going into a BKB too. And he should know. Well, I don't know if you can tell with creeps there, but now he should know that he's under vision.
Regeneration.
Again, I don't know if it's just the replay, but I don't see them pinging out this vision that's here for the Dire. Sark should be able to clean up this vision quite easily. See, he's got a Sentry. Yeah, there it is. So they did communicate it. And we're going into the Shivas. Sand King, he's got the Blink Force Staff. Really all he needs at this point. Hook comes through onto the Spirit Breaker, but they've got the Blink. Global Silence comes out, as well as the BKB from the Invoker. They'll send the Visage over to try and get the kill onto the Spirit Breaker. The Tornado hits on a couple, so that'll keep the Spirit Breaker alive for a little bit longer. Who tries the TP out, but the Familiars are there. Can they get the stun? No. Escapes. Just barely. Invoker walks away easily, but that is at the expense of another BKB charge. Later down the line, that could be very meaningful, that BKB charge. Blink, Cold Snap, Tornado with the Ice Wall. They've got the Burrow Strike with the Meteor. Searing Chains, the attempt at a TP, but no way.
Is under attack.
Although you're letting your tier 2 get chipped away here. Joker, Blink, EMP, Sentry placed down. I believe that was the premiere of the Lincolns right there.
Haste.
Daedalus next for the Marana. No Ags in this game. BKB for the Pudge next. Interesting. The game's been sitting relatively close the entire time. Yeah, no crazy leads here. XP is sitting even too. Showing the Invoker bottom with Sand King ready. Looking for prey. 4 staff for the Visage. I need these 4 staffs to get away from the Invoker. Seems like. Nobody going in a Roche yet. Ags for the big bad watermelon. I love Ags on Tide. One of my favorite Ags in the game. He took the Gush damage, and he should take the Gush armor too here with the Ags picked up. And that will make it 12 armor reduction, so that's a lot. Puts the Pudge down past 0, the Visage, the Sark. Not the Marana, but the Silencer too, so the armor reduction that now is kind of in a larger area of effect with the Ags, as well as the -5 Gush armor when it comes at level 20. It could be really good here for the Dire. Hook hits the Ember. Nice sleight of fist, but it won't be enough to stay alive. Thought about the Ravage, but chose otherwise. Now the Radiant just trying to play it a little bit more aggressive.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
And Pounce. Got the leash on the side. Lincoln's pop. Gold Sounds comes out. Look at the kill on the Spirit Breaker. They'll look over for one more in the Sand King. They already killed the Ember, so they'll easily be able to take out the Tide. Invoker can't do anything. They get the tier 2. They get 4 kills, and now they're going into the high ground. Backdoor making this very difficult.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
Here we come. With another potential fight, but the Hook Cataclysm with the Ravage. That is a bit of a wombo combo there, but is it going to be enough? Soul Assumption thrown to the Tide. They'll get the kill onto the Sark as well as the Silencer. They'll look for one more with the Remnant over to kill the Marana. Visage staying near and, well, will die to the Invoker. Make that 4, potentially 5. Yeah, oh yeah. Pudge locked up. Forced to use that BKB. Radiant's Courier goes down with a full BKB on it. Oh my. And the team wipe.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
So they immediately come bottom.
Are under attack. Radiant's bottom
Grab a set of racks. This has become a lot more trouble than I think the Radiant we're looking at. And they got the racks over mid. This is going to be a tier 2 too. They don't have a Marana for another 20. And they probably don't want to fight without the entire squad. And at that point, 25 more seconds, it puts it
Radiant's
relatively far from Ravage. However, BKB is going to be popped by the Invoker to get the kill on the Silencer. And Invoker free to leave. Silencer dead for 47.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
They get the mid tier too.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
They're just going to keep grabbing towers. Why stop?
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
White Shadow looking for someone, looking specifically for the Invoker, but unable to keep him locked in. They look for the Sand King. They've got the Invoker. Well, they'll get the kill. The Soul Assumption, throw to the Sand King. Vertical Strike away. They'll look for the Tide at least, but they do end up getting the Sand King with the Mirana. And 3 heroes dead while pressuring the tier 1 top, so didn't look like they were going to stop. And in fact, by doing so, they end up losing 3. So 40 minutes in, 2,000 net worth lead so far for the Radiant. But again, Ember finds the Slark. But heads over towards top. And now Remnant away again. Arrow. This time change the way he's walking to make sure he doesn't get hit by that for what seems to be the billionth time this game. Did you ever go crest? No. 3,200 gold saved up though. Could be because the courier was dead.
Tower is under attack.
Had a BKB for the Slark on it.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
What else is coming on this courier? Chrysalis as well as the Daedalus recipe. So Mirana will have the Daedalus finished as well as 3,000 more gold to work with. Sark will have his BKB going into the Abyssal Blade. So, Radiant, despite being pressured earlier, still seem to be at least in the driver's seat. Miranda throws that arrow right at the Spirit Breaker. Just picked up that Daedalus. Sand King doesn't know that the Pudge is nearby. Gush is used, and they should be able to grab themselves a quick, easy kill. Starstorm comes through. They'll get themselves at least one. They'll look for another one. Tide trying to get away, but nowhere for him to run.
It is only natural that the moon should rule the tide.
So again, Radiant pressuring. Last time they did this, though, they need to be careful. They've lost the Ceterax bottom. They might even want to push the tier 2 and get that Ceterax to even it up, but they'll go for the tier 3 over top.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Whole time, though, Ember's there. Cutting creeps and pushing that lane for himself.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So they get the tier 3 Tornado, EMP, as well as the Ice Wall, Searing Chain. Sark in a lot of trouble with pop the BKB, trying to turn this around to the Shadow Dance. They'll look for something as the BKB's popped by the Mirana, too. Not enough damage just yet, but the Global Silence comes out. This might lock them in for at least a set of racks, but at that point, can you get out of this? Searing Chains comes in, as well as the ulti. That's onto the Mirana. They'll buy back on the Ember. They find the Burrow Strike. They'll get the kill. They don't kill the Spirit Breaker. It does net them a set of racks, but again, they lose the Mirana.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So losing that Mirana and possibly more as the Pudge is caught by the Tornado. We'll see if the Radiant want to hop into this. I don't know if they should. He's taking a lot of this damage, but now comes through. 4 heroes nearby. Force that forward. They've got the Dust onto the Sark. Buy back on the Pudge. Disarming him with the Deafening Blast. Remnant forward. Burrow Strike in, and they'll get themselves the Sark. That is not worth it. And they buy back.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So they buy back on the Pudge. They lose the Sark and the Mirana too. That is just not going well in terms of finding an exit. And this hands over the Aegis to the Dire, at least for the... Well, yeah, no contest coming in from the Radiant. I don't think they even could. Look at familiars. Can they kill any of them? Grab themselves some gold. They got 1, they got 2, they got 3. 300 gold going their way. And they got the Aegis. So, Aegis in the hands of the Ember, who's got that Battle Fury and the Maelstrom going into the Daedalus. He is just 700 gold away from that. And only a 6,000 net worth lead, but really, the way the Dire have been playing, it doesn't feel like a 4,000 net worth lead as the bounties are picked up by the Dire. It feels much closer. And that's because the Invoker's doing well. Ember outputting quite a bit of damage. Ravages have been on point.
Radiant's top shrine is under attack.
They finish off this Daedalus. And they've got a refresher on the Invoker.
Radiant's top shrine is under attack. Radiant's top shrine.
The game is pretty much even at this point. And they'll go for the refresher on the Silencer. We'll see if he even gets that. More sustain coming in for the Dire with the Guardian Greaves finished on the Tidehunter. Butterfly for the Mirana next, but is the Mirana going to survive? Gets hexed up, Deafening Blast, Burrow Strike, Global Silence, the hook, saving the Mirana with the BKB being popped, but so low. Throws an arrow back, but will run into some creeps before it even breaks through to the other team. So they pop the BKB on the Mirana as well as the Slark. They get the save, but these BKBs are going to be down with Ravage ready to go as well as the Global Silence unavailable.
Radiant's bottom shrine is under attack.
Will be at least a shrine.
Radiant's bottom shrine has fallen.
Radiant smoke out, but don't find anybody as they've already gone. Off the smoke, the Moonlight Shadow, typical Mirana play. And they will walk through the jungle. They might be able to find the Spirit Breaker. There was a sentry onto the high ground. Smoke was broken, but they had the Moonlight Shadow, so it doesn't matter.
Dire's bottom shrine is under attack.
Constantly waving here. Sand King does that every now and then. Comes into the broken animation. Picking up Yule's next. They smoke up, so let's see what they could get here. Does this ward spot? Yeah, it does spot them. So they've got the charge. They've got the charge. They've got the Invoker. Here comes the Tornado. Lands on 2. This could be a problem here for the Radiant as they might lose the Visage as well as the Silencer. They'll Ravage on top of this. They'll get the kill on the Silencer. They'll look for more with the Epicenter as well. And Visage disconnects. Oh, no. He's so dead. Doesn't matter. Pause just really comes into the fact if he wants to buy back or not. No, he doesn't have it, so it doesn't even matter. This pause is... Or no, he does have it. He has enough surplus? Really? No, that must be broken. That's not right. Unless his gold is wrong. It says he's got 1,600 gold. 1,600 reliable gold. Plus 702 unreliable gold. which would put him at 2,300 minus 450, which would be 1,950. Yeah, so, oh, and plus the buyback. Okay, I don't know. Maybe the gold is broken. I wish I could skip these pauses. I really do. 48 minutes in. So, let's see. Let's go around the horn on items while we wait for the visage. Midas Ags, Guardian Greaves Force Staff, BKB, Refresher on cooldown, and ready to go to see this visage die. 3, 2, 1, you're dead. And now he's all of a sudden got 1,800 gold back. What happened? I guess he did have the gold? I don't know. I don't know what I'm seeing. Was I on the wrong hero? Did I click on the wrong person? Popping the Aegis of this Ember. Can they kill him again? Sleight of Fist, Remnant out, trying to run. Force staffed by the tide, but the arrow! Oh no! Leaping into the Burrow Strike. Cataclysm comes out. They'll get the kill into the Ember. He's dead for 2 minutes. Silencer gets the global silence off, but the Mirana's dead for 100. The BKB being popped by the Invoker as well as the Sark. He goes in for the Tide Hunter, who uses the Gush on a couple of these heroes, but they've got the BKB. They'll look for the Tide. They'll get the right clicks coming through. Essence Shift stacking up. Get the kill. He's dead. Looking over for more as the Sand King's locked in by this Dismember, but the Deafening Blast comes through. Soul Assumption hits. They'll get themselves 3. So 3 for 1. BKB is around the horn coming in. I also got through that Aegis. Leaped right into that Burrow Strike. Oh boy. Finding the silencer with that Hex. Trying to give enough time to that Sark, but he's got dust. Oh! Pounce just an inch short. Just an inch. So 50 minutes. The game's still even. Are we ever going to see a team take a substantial lead? I guess that 10,000 is substantial, but just as quickly as they had it, it was gone.
Double damage.
I think it was purely based on buybacks, too. Sark going for that Abyssal. 3,700 gold is enough here, I believe, if my math is correct. Constantly with the NA math. Charge coming through, as well as the Hex from the Invoker. They've got the Spirit Vessel looking for the Mirana, but the Mirana is able to pop the BKB with a Refresher or being used by the Invoker, taking a lot of damage here from the Sark, as well as the Mirana leaping forward, trying to get the kill. They've got the Dust, but that hits onto the Sand King. They'll find the Spirit Breaker. Here comes Tide. Tide does have the Ravage, but you need to be careful about using it. If he got the Dark Pack off, he would have been able to escape, but the BKB comes out from the punch, as well as the Sark. Stacking those Essence Shifts. Epicenter, not enough. BKB coming out from the Visage. They'll look for this kill as they've got the Dismember once more, but the 4-step away. Soul Assumption coming in. They'll get the kill on the Sand King. They'll look for more. Ember comes through. See if we can turn the fight. They get the kill onto the Sark. Now a lot of their damage has already gotten on the Radiant, so they need to try and get out of this one. Ember comes over. The arrow lands onto the Tide, but he's got the Invoker as well as the Ember right by him. Invoker, Sleight of Fist, out of mana. Pudge trying to run. Charge coming in. Cold Snap. Charge. It all hits. Gush over the top. Got the minus 12 armor, and the damage comes in to get the kill, but they lose the Invoker to the Mirana. And Mirana doing so much damage here on everybody on the Dire side. They take out the Ember. The charge comes in. I'm not sure this Spirit Breaker is going to have enough. He surely doesn't. And the only one to survive is the Tide. with creeps flying into the space, almost taking out both tier 4s. They had to buy back on this Ember. They bought back on the Pudge, and it's still just a 5,000 net worth lead. Nothing too crazy.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So they've got the gem. Bottom rack still standing with the tier 3. They'll try to defend with 2, but without the Sark, I don't know if they want to commit to this. I don't think they can commit to this. Roche up in 25, too. So they get the Sark back. Could start to posture on the Roche pit.
Dire's bottom shrine has fallen.
How much intelligence does this silencer have? Only 32. He's dying early in these fights, so looked like he was going for a Midas earlier. Ends up getting Glimmer Cape and 4 staff. Took the 150 or 120 gold per minute. Still looking for the refresher word, but that is far away. Maybe a Midas would have helped with that, but yeah, it is really far from happening. Oop. No, not going into the pit. Or are they? Nope. Okay. Tide has Ravage. Pudge will spot him. They've got the sentry down. This will spot them in the Moonlight Shadow. No, they're nearby, so they place another. Have to be careful. Dire already eject from that situation. As the Ember just continues to farm. He's sitting here, third of the net worth behind the Mirana. Top of the net worth is the Invoker. With that refresher orb, Scythe, Ags, BKB at 5, and Blink. As well as Treads, but come on. Are they going to go into Roche? Did they even look at Roche? They didn't before. They're starting to move over towards bottom. They already got this set of racks, though. Butterfly soon for the Mirana. How much surplus? 1,400. Just about enough. Once he has that surplus, we'll probably finish off the Butterfly. Wants to have buyback. Let's take a look at buybacks, too. Invoker, Mirana, Sark, and Tide. Ember used his. He's going into a Divine Rapier. Close to that. And it probably a last-ditch effort. You're down 2 sets of racks. Your tier 4s are practically gone. Kind of have to commit to something like that. And he has been doing a good amount of damage in these fights. It's all about his positioning and you know, the BKB usages, where the Ravage comes out, Global Silence as well. If Silencer could stay alive and throw the Global Silence post BKBs, or, well, I say BKB is plural, but it's only Tide, or no, not even Tide. I thought it was Invoker and Tide, but it's just the Invoker. Lincoln's pop. They've got the Hex. They'll look for more. They've got the Refresher. There's the Deafening Blast once again, as well as the charge. The BKB is going to be popped by the Invoker, looking to get the Sork. They'll get the Meteor on top. Aim with a hook again! There's like 3 heroes surrounding him, and somehow they hook him away. It's Pudge. How many saves has he achieved here? Charge comes out onto the Visage. They have the Ravage, but it needs to be in the perfect spot. They don't have the Divine Rapier yet, so they may not want to fight this, but they throw the Ravage with the Cataclysm. That'll land onto a couple, but it's just not going to be enough damage. And it really isn't a deterrent. They just use it. With the Ravage, they were able to make enough space between them and the Radiant. And really, it was the space that made it so they didn't progress in. Good Tornado, hitting everybody. No Ravage, so you could probably take Roche pretty well. Or, you know, pretty confidently. Oh, he's going Daedalus. He's not even going into the Divine Rapier. I respect it. just in case you die, but your team wins the fight. You don't want to drop it. Hook. Oh. Almost hitting. Roche low. They'll get the Aegis. That'll be picked up by the Marana. Cheese here for the Slark. So you've got the Aegis and Cheese. And now, Dire, they gotta hope that they're able to survive. It all comes down to when the Radiant look to engage on this one, and you want to know what the game's going at a pace that potentially Ember could have his buyback back. So instead of going for that Divine Rapier and having buyback instead after 1:55, you know, when you die, you come out less powerful if you buy back with that Divine Rapier drop. He's got 2 Daedalus, or 2 Daedali. And I think it's you know, both were the right move, but one is the better move, and I think the Daedalus is the better move. Because if he's got buyback, at least he'll hold on to everything. I don't think he has enough time to buy a Divine Rapier, buy a backup Divine Rapier, and still have buyback. Just doesn't have that luxury. Sitting behind by 10,000. So Moonlight Shadow, I think that was right in front of the creep, so Dire knows this is coming. Find themselves some familiars. 2 Sleight of Fists. Which is quite nice. Gonna be good here with 2 Daedalus as well. Abyssal Blade finally finished for the Slark. His BKB is 5 seconds as well. Marana should be too. I think everybody's BKB should be 5 seconds at this point, but Visage hasn't been able to survive, so it doesn't really matter. It's at 8. BKB usage from the Visage hasn't exactly been perfect either. The charges do refresh pretty quickly on the Sleight of Fists.
Radiant are scanning.
Shadows, take us.
So Moonlight Shadow again pressuring this bottom lane. It's the last set of racks that are here for the Dire, and their tier 4s are low, so you win a fight, you should be able to take Mega Creeps as well as their racks, or as well as the tier 4s too. Force the BKB out on the Pudge. It's only 5 seconds at this point anyway. Slark moving forward, but again, pressuring with familiars with the Marana, who's got this Mjolnir, as well as the Daedalus and the Butterfly. So hitting fast and hard.
Well-gotten gains.
Pressuring the tier 3. It's going to go quick. You need to come back and defend this. Sleight of Fist coming through. Familiars will end up dying. They'll use the Global Silence. They'll look for the Spirit Breaker. The damage from the Marana is a lot. BKB is going to be popped by the Visage as well as the Invoker. Meteor drop down, and when landing, will pop the BKB. Looks for the Spirit Breaker. Still doesn't have the damage just yet, but they've got the Ravage that comes through and hits the Marana and pops the Aegis. They'll get the kill into the Spirit Breaker. Epicenter already used. Deafening Blast coming out as well as the Hex. They have disarmed this Pudge. Soul Assumption comes in as well as the Cataclysm, but it's just not going to be enough damage just yet. But they've surrounded the Marana. They'll get the kill dead for 100. Sleight of Fist once again. Ember trying to survive. Now needs to get out of here, but he's hit with the Yules trying to run. Remnants away. Slark low, running. Tornado hits onto the Slark and will drop to his demise. Visage gone as well as Ember comes back into the fight. Pudge runs away, as does the Silencer, and it's a 3-4-1 in the favor of the Dire. Disconnect on the Visage, but no pause this time. 2 claps this time. Everybody's got buyback except the Spirit Breaker. There's the pause. There it is. Hour and 2 minutes into the game. Things are close. Hopefully we'll get this Visage back soon. It's not professional players, it's a viewer request game. Yeah, just a pub. Nothing too crazy. For now, at least. And then after this, that's it. That's all the replays done. Everything handled. Let the break begin. So they might need a buyback. That would give the Dire at least net worth advantage. There's Sand King in the Sandstorm animation. As well as Ember in his animation. Forever locked in the purgatory that is being stuck in your animation. Ooh, hook. Not landing. Not pushing as hard as I thought they would. I mean, they're pushing top and they're pushing mid, but you'd think that they would want to push a little bit harder, force these buybacks out earlier. But maybe they're trying to take it a little bit slower. Not too fast where they force the buybacks immediately. Maybe a little bit slower, wait for the Ravage. Tornado EMP, BKB. They've got the hook onto the Tide. Tide forced away. Has Ravage in 4. He didn't force the buyback on the Mirana or the Sark yet. Honestly, not as much in return as maybe they would have liked. They only got the buyback on the Visage. Roche not up for quite some time. Finally, the Refresher Orb is out for the Silencer, but he sold his Force Staff, I believe. So everybody up for the Radiant. Even game, 64 minutes in. Mirana going into the Boots Travel as well as the Satanic, Moonshard, Sark. He's got the Abyssal Blade, 2,800 gold saved up. He's saving on buyback as well as the Mirana, so you can't buy out on either of these heroes just yet. And Dire, well, without the Aegis, I don't know if they're confident about going in on this. They don't have buyback on the Spirit Breaker, but they have buyback on everybody else, as does the rest of the team. They don't have buyback on the Visage or the Silencer, but it's close. For at least the Silencer. The thing about it here, though, is Dire without the Aegis high ground is going to be tough. They need to play it perfectly. They need it with the Ravage. They need it with a good, addition from the Invoker as well as the Ember. Ember now going into the Divine Rapier. So he will finally commit to it. He went to the Daedalus, the second Daedalus, when it looked like he was going Divine Rapier previously. He does have buyback this time around, so the question becomes, is he going to hold buyback? Is he just going to go all out on the Divine Rapier? Does he go all in on trying to get the victory? Well, that's, a tough decision. BKB is popped by the Pudge on the backlines. They've got the Deafening Blast as well as the Epicenter coming through on top of the Visage, who's popped the BKB. The Vero Strike hits on the Pudge. Global Silence follows this up. They've got the Ravage to throw, and there it is with the Cataclysm on top of it, but it's a little bit of damage onto the Pudge. Not enough. Global Silence once again with the Refresher Orb finally being debuted here. Oh man, Ember already dead. He'll be dead for 120. They look at the Invoker. They get the kill. The charge comes out on the Mirana, but is it going to be enough? They look for it, but there's the familiar stuns coming in. He's unable to get his ult off. They'll get the kill to the Sand King as well as the Spirit Breaker. They buy back on 3, and a perfect fight there from the Radiant, and that would have been the risk of buying the Divine Rapier. You would have had no buyback here and no Divine Rapier. So it's a risky play. Now they bought back on 3. Don't have Ravage. Are the Radiant willing to just go? Or are they going to wait for Roche, which is in a minute? They could play it super safe, wait for the Roche. And now at this point, I think Ember used his buyback, so... again, it comes down to, are you willing to go for the Divine Rapier or go for another Daedalus? And I think at this point, down this much and no buybacks really available for you and your squad. You have to go Divine Rapier. The problem is, you know, even with that BKB at 10 seconds, he was, you know, the ember in him was extinguished quite quickly.
Illusion.
Pressure bottom from familiars as well as the Mirana sword comes through as well. Just, okay. 4 sentries here in a diamond. They find the familiars. And as well as the ult on the Visage, they've got the Cataclysm again, and, well, Visage is dead for 2 minutes. That's a significant amount of push. No familiars, no Visage. It just, again, a little bit of sloppy play, and got the kill, and Ember got his Divine Rapier. Roche is up. I think Spirit Breaker's going to check it out. He'll step into the Roche pit, spot that he is back in his home. $646 damage. Or 56 damage. I don't know, my math is bad. Tornado, Ice Wall, Epicenter charged up, but he's got a Burrow Strike to the other side. He'll blink over, Burrow Strike pops the Lincolns of the Slark, and now they've got the Searing Chains. They look for the ulti coming up from the Spirit Breaker. They've got the Hex, they've got the Ravage, they've got themselves the kill on the Slark. They look for the Pudge, they grab it, Ember grabs it. How puts a lot of damage in that fight. You could look at him compared to everybody else on his team with that Divine Rapier in his hands and the 2 Daedalus, or the 2 Daedalus, blows through that Pudge. That is a 4,300 health Pudge with 26 armor. And now they go for the mid-tier 3. So you're forced to buy back on the Sark. Sark looking for an entry point. They need to be careful. Tide not here. He's top. He doesn't have Ravage for another 70, so no point in him being here anyway. Not no point. I take that back. Not no point. That's a little rude on my end to that Tide. He's got Gush. It's minus 12 armor. That's pretty significant. Oh, they've got the scan. They look for the Burrow Strike. EMP on top of the Sand King. He'll look out of the Sandstorm. And again, need to be careful. Can they commit to Roche? They TP back, and Roche is under half health. They might have wanted to just commit to this. They don't have the Pudge. But Global Silence is available twice here. You need to be very careful. Invoker and Ember inside the pit. 4-digit numbers coming out onto this Roche, and here they come with the Moonlight Shadow. They have ejected from the pit. They have Ravage in 3 seconds. He doesn't have a lot of mana. The Guardian Greaves come out, so that'll replenish him just a bit. You'd like to have another Gush to come in with this. They've got themselves the OT as well as the Burrow Strike. That's going to be started up. The BKB is going to be popped early by the Visage. They'll get on top of the Silencer. If they can get him killed off before he's able to get the Global Silence off, that would be great, but he gets the Global Silence off. They take out the Invoker. They look for the kill on the Silencer, and that's going to be another Global Silence. They take out the Ember. The Divine Rapier is on the deck. Ravage coming through from the Tide. It's not going to be enough. Divine Rapier on the floor, picked up by the Mirana. 3 heroes dead. They've only got Spirit Breaker as well as the Tide and the Sand King, but Tide goes down. Spirit Breaker and Tide both have buyback, but the Global Silences are there as the stun and the kill does not come through from the Sand King onto the Silencer. They'll buyback on the Tide. He doesn't have Ravage. Spirit Breaker's alive, but no way they get to the pit in time. There's no chance they get to this pit. No chance they stop this. Aegis, Cheese, and Refresher Shard all in the hands of the Radiant. And that Divine Rapier too. Pop the Lincolns. Gush.
is under attack.
-6 armor. Burrow Strike and Slark. Well, I don't know if you want to go for the Slark as Mirana's taking your base, but they've got the use. The Dismember comes in. They'll get the kill into the Sand King. It's going to be 2 against the world. They find the Abyssal Blade onto the Tide. Meanwhile, they look after the Spirit Breaker. A couple of shots come out from the Mirana. They'll get the kill. They look over the Tide. Slark taking care of him. He's got the Essence Shift, 34, 35, and it won't even matter. They don't get the kill, but they kill the Ancient. Radiant win. An hour and 11 minutes in. And that is the final